Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching India Today's coverage of Phase 1 of the Lok Sabha elections. The battle for the 18th Lok Sabha has well and truly begun. This is the dance of India's democracy. 102 seats going to polls today. What's the mood at the end of day one? This is the first and only phase where the India Alliance actually went to the polls with a head start over the NDA Alliance. At the end of the first day of battle, where do the two armies stand? We look at that. We've got top experts, pundits, pollsters, our reporters, anchors and editors joining us on the show. Let's get started. Let me take you through the headlines we're tracking today. Voting for the first phase of the 18th Lok Sabha polls ends. Fate sealed on 102 seats across 21 states and union territories. Home Minister Amit Shah files his nomination from Gujarat's Gandhinagar, expresses confidence in a third term for Prime Minister Modi.
प्रचंड बहुमत के साथ हर जगह कमल को खिलाए और 400 पार का लक्ष्य जो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं को मोदी जी ने दिया है, इसको सिद्ध करने में हमारी सफलता करें.
Fresh round of Rahul Gandhi versus Pinarayi Vijayan war of words in Kerala. Vijayan responds to Rahul's "Why isn't ED putting him in jail, Bob?" Kerala CM says the left isn't afraid of going to jail, unlike the Congress. Outrage grows over stabbing shocker in Karnataka. Stalker Fayaz stabs Congress cooperator's daughter Neha in Hubli. BJP says there's no law and order in the Congress-ruled state. BrahMos Shakti in the South China Sea. Made in India BrahMos missile delivered to the Philippines. Prime Minister Modi hails the big Atmanirbhar defense push.
अब हम ब्रह्मोस मिसाइल को भी एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं. इस मिसाइल का पहला बैच आज फिलीपींस जा रहा है.
Votes have been cast on 102 seats across 21 states and union territories today. This is the Shubharam of the 2024 elections. This is the phase where the opposition India Alliance had the edge at the starting point. The biggest seats, the highest number of seats, 39, came from Tamil Nadu. The Prime Minister himself and his party focused on Tamil Nadu in a very big way. Here's how the state voted today. Take a look at this ground report from Tamil Nadu, and then we look at how India voted in these 102 seats. I've got pollsters, pundits, experts, editors, anchors, reporters all joining us. We'll try and make sense of what happened on day one, first day, first show of the dance of India's democracy.
The fate of 950 candidates in 39 Lok Sabha seats of Tamil Nadu sealed. After a hard-fought campaign by the fronts led by DMK, AIADMK and the BJP, voters eagerly lined up at polling stations across the state on Friday, the first phase of nationwide elections. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, accompanied by his wife Durga, DMK leader Kanimozhi, who's fighting from Thoothukudi, and BJP leaders L. Murugan, a contestant from Nilgiris, and Tamilsai Soundarya Rajan, a South Chennai candidate, voted in Chennai. Tamil Nadu Governor R.N. Ravi cast his ballot at a local polling station, joined by former Chief Ministers O. Paneerselvam and Edappadi K. Palaniswamy and various other political leaders. Governor R.N. Ravi and Stalin encouraged citizens to fulfill their democratic responsibility.
நான் என்னுடைய வாக்குரிமைக்குரிய ஜனநாயக கடமை ஆற்றியிருக்கிறேன். அதேபோல் வாக்குரிமை பெற்றிருக்கும் அனைவரும் தங்களுடைய ஜனநாயக கடமை ஆற்றிட வேண்டும். மறந்துவிடாமல் அதை புறக்கணிக்கிறாமல் அந்த ஜனநாயகத்தை மாற்றிட வேண்டும் என்று உங்கள் மூலமாக நான் வேண்டுகோள் விடுக்கிறேன்.
I am immensely happy and proud to have participated in it. This mark is the most beautiful insignia of a citizen. And I would urge everyone, all citizens, especially the first-time voters, to take part in this festival with full enthusiasm, full zest.
In central Chennai, DMK's Dayanidhi Maran is fighting against BJP's Vinod P. Selvam. Maran also cast his vote.
This election is to rescue India from the forces which are trying to divide India in the base of caste and religion. Enough is enough. How long are you going to divide India? We want India, a progressive India.
State BJP chief K. Annamalai cast his vote in Karur. Annamalai, who is the BJP candidate from Coimbatore, accused the DMK and the AIADMK of using money power to influence voters in the seat.
Madam, I'm very, very supremely confident now because people are coming out in big numbers and they want to support Modi ji in a big way. And they want a continuity at the center. They want a change in the state government. And I'm very, very clear that people, especially brothers and sisters, Modi ji schemes beneficiaries and farmers, Yuva, all our mothers and sisters and all our poor mothers and sisters who want an upliftment in their life which Modi ji is doing. And this combination will make us to sail past the post.
Congress leaders P. Chidambaram and his son Karthi Chidambaram cast their vote in Sivaganga.
Nadu will vote for the India Alliance. The India Alliance, headed by the DMK and including the Congress in Tamil Nadu, will win all the 39 Lok Sabha seats in Tamil Nadu.
In the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, the alliance led by the DMK won 38 of the 39 seats. While the India bloc is hoping for a repeat, this time they are facing a tough fight both from the AIADMK and the BJP. With Pramod Madhav, Nagarjun Dwarkanath, Shilpa and Saurabh in Tamil Nadu, Bureau Report, India Today.
Spend some time with me as we try and make sense of what happened in the first phase of polling. And I'll take you through a set of visualizations put together by the India Today Data Intelligence Unit. A total of 102 seats went to polls today. Half of these came from Tamil Nadu and Rajasthan. 39 seats, the entire state of Tamil Nadu. 12 seats of Rajasthan went to the polls. And there are some interesting statistics which really give you context about the first phase, because it's only in the first phase that the India Alliance actually had a head start over the NDA at the starting point. The fact is that in all other phases, from now till the last phase, the NDA starts out stronger. It's only in the first phase that the India Alliance actually starts out at the top. Also, we've got with us on this broadcast Pradeep Gupta, lead cephalogist at Access My India. He's joining us on this broadcast. Pradeep, welcome. We've got Rajdeep Sardesai. Rajdeep is in Maharashtra. Mumbai, Pune, Baramati, traveling for election on his place. He does all that delicious political coverage for the India Today group. Rajdeep, welcome. T.S. Sudhir joins us. T.S. Sudhir has been tracking the polls in Tamil Nadu and elsewhere for the India Today group. With me in the studios is my colleague Akshita. She's just come back from Tamil Nadu. And we've got Preeti, who's been traveling all across the northern parts. So, welcome to all our guests. I want to go across to Pradeep Gupta first. Pradeep ji, you know, you find yourself in the midst of a big controversy all across social media. You're trending. Apparently, some poll of yours has gone viral where you seem to be predicting like a tight fight between the NDA and the India Alliance. What is this poll which you're giving out on social media which you haven't been giving us? We feel very cheated. What's going on here, Pradeep Gupta?
Yes, that's true, Rahul. In fact, as per ECI guidelines, all kind of opinion poll or exit polls are banned from 17th of April to 1st of June, 6 p.m. So there is, whoever is trying to do, they are doing fraud, illegal things, and we have lodged the complaint with the respective authorities to take the cognizance of the situation. So we as a Access My India, we never ever do any kind of opinion poll, that the whole world of the India knows about it. And we have put forward our press release to that effect. So just for the sake of your viewers, we have never ever released any kind of poll predictions for general election 2024. Some of these opposition party with the blue tick handle trying to do that, and we have lodged the complaint with the respective authorities.
No, but you do keep doing all kinds of polling, even if it's not for us, for Access and for other clients, you do polling. And the charge seems to be that one of those polls which you did for one of your clients has somehow found its way on social media. And from that poll, I'm not sure whether you had a chance to see it or not, but from that poll, leaked poll as it were, it seems the contest is much tougher than the popular narrative would suggest. The BJP here aiming for 370 par, the NDA for 400. Your poll or your fake poll or your leaked poll seems to suggest it could be a dead heat.
First of all, Rahul, there is no question of our poll, whether leak or otherwise. There is no question that we do or we release these kind of poll for sure. So let me clarify this, to all your viewers. There is no poll done by us, or there is no poll leaked from us. No way.
Okay, so there's no leaked poll, but tell us, what can you tell us? How was phase one? You've got teams all across the country. What were you looking out for the most in phase one? And how do you think the first phase of polling has been?
So that everybody knows that in these, as you rightly mentioned, out of this 102, 102 seats, 39 plus 1 Pondicherry, 40% belongs to the Tamil Nadu. And this time, to our mind and our study suggests that Tamil Nadu is the state. In all these years, Uttar Pradesh used to be the state, but this time, from different political regions, Tamil Nadu is the battleground to watch out for. And the reason is very simple here. After J. Jayalalitha, AIDMK is thinking that the history or the tradition will repeat, that every alternate poll, in last 2014 elections, AIDMK scored 37 seats out of 39 seats. BJP could win 1 seat contesting separately, and PMK has won 1 seat. And last time, as you mentioned, 38 seats won by DMK alliance and 1 seat won by AIDMK in the alliance with BJP. But this time there is no alliance, and reason is very simple and clear. AIDMK is hoping to do good in the hunt of kind of a tradition. But the reality on the ground is that AIDMK has split it into 3 factions, the EPS, the OPS, and the TT Dinakaran. So this is the reality on the ground, and BJP sensing there is a room to scope or make the inroads, and they found in the process the person like Annamalai, the flag bearer, and he has put lots of energy and efforts in the ground. At least I would say the entire Tamil Nadu at least knows that who is Annamalai. I mean, that much is done, that much I can say at this point of time. And when there is a 3-corner contest and there is a 4th party also in the fray, which is talked very less, which is the NTK. By the Seaman, the flag bearer of NTK is the Seaman. He could score 7% vote share in last assembly election, which is a significant, of course, 7%. But the beauty is from each and every seat, he has scored some or the other. So when there is a 3-corner contest, and particularly the 3.5, I would say, the winning margins shift from bipolar, in bipolar the 40s, then in the triangle it is 30s, and if there is a quadrangle, then with 29% vote share or the 27% vote share, BSP and SP has formed the government in Uttar Pradesh, with the after securing the 29 and 27% vote share.
No, but so Rajiv, the fact is, it's quite clear that there is a surge in the BJP's vote share. That doesn't necessarily transfer into a bounty of seats, because remember, in Tamil Nadu, the BJP doesn't win seats by taking votes away only from the AIDMK. The India Alliance itself is 50% plus. the BJP starts winning only when they can start pulling away some of that DMK India alliance vote. Till then, you got the BJP vote share going up, but the seat tally not changing very much. And ironically, Rajdeep, it is the DMK and the India alliance which could be the prime beneficiary from the BJP surge. So the surge needs to be a tsunami for the electoral dynamics to change. I asked the Home Minister this question yesterday in Ahmedabad, and he was talking about Manipur, where they started out from 2%, Tripura, where they started from 2%, and were able to register a dramatic change in the electoral calculus. But those are smaller states. You went to Tamil Nadu. What was the impression that you came back with? Is it just a surge, or are we going to see a tsunami?
Look, I don't think tsunamis happen overnight, certainly not in states where you've got strong parties, strong alliances established over decades. I think what you're looking at is I wouldn't even call it a surge, I would call it a growth, which eventually the BJP hopes over the next election or two translates into vote share becoming seats. That's not going to happen overnight, Rahul. I'm very clear about that. This is not an election where you're going to see the BJP suddenly picking up seats across Tamil Nadu, especially because, as Pradeep Gupta says, it's three-cornered, four-cornered, all of whom are attacking the DMK. You see, the DMK being the anti-DMK vote as a result, Rahul, is potentially going to get split in this election. And even if, therefore, there was some chance of some of these other parties winning seats, that becomes that much more difficult. Remember, the only occasion where the BJP has won seats in Tamil Nadu is when they've been in alliance with the Dravida parties. Recall during Vajpayee's rule, 99, the BJP actually won 4 seats. It's very difficult for the BJP when you're a 3-4% party to suddenly leapfrog into contenders for power. They have over the years shown in Bengal, for example, that they grew spectacularly over the last decade. But it took them a couple of elections before they could do that. And it was 2019 in that sense, which was the big turning point in the BJP's fortunes. You will recall, Rahul, in the state of Bengal. I don't think that they've reached that critical point where they can translate their increased vote share into seats. But yes, Annamalai has got traction, and potentially 2026, the BJP will be looking at emerging in some form as being seen as a challenger. The first thing to win seats is voters have to see you as a challenger. And I think that's the goal the BJP had in this election, at least have sufficient traction that people start taking them seriously. So I think that's the way to see what's been happening in Tamil Nadu. The Prime Minister's repeated visits, Annamalai being projected as this potential leader of the future. I don't think it was ever going to be about let's win 10, 15, 20 seats in Tamil Nadu. I think if they win a couple, the BJP will be happy.
Akshita Nandgopal is leading the office sweepstakes on whether the BJP will open its tally in her home state. Tamil pride, hometown pride. You cannot get this wrong. So is the BJP going to open its tally and get off the mark or not, Akshita?
I don't know if I should stake my bets on air just yet, Rahul. But yes, vote share, I think most experts agree that it's more or less a given that their vote share is going to go up. As far as seats go, I think the NDA as a whole has a good chance of getting a couple, because if you look at Teni, for example, where TTV Dinakaran has been fielded, he has a good chance of actually winning that seat. For the BJP itself, there are a couple of seats that they are eyeing. And no, I'm not going to go into Coimbatore right now because that's a very, very tricky one. And it's a contest that no doubt is going to go down to the wire if you really look at the breakdown of the population, the urban versus rural, and also the caste breakdown. But there are some seats that the BJP is really fancying their chances on. Kanyakumari is one. Tirunelveli is another. Tenkasi, they're talking about a lot. Teni, Ramnad, these are seats that they've given to their allies with TTV Dinakaran and also O Paneerselvam in the fray there. So these are all seats. And if you look at where they're distributed, these are largely in South Tamil Nadu and West Tamil Nadu that they're actually looking at having a chance. Then there's also Vellore, where AC Shanmugam, they're saying, stands a very, very good chance. So these are all seats, Rahul, where you could see the BJP make inroads, but will it translate to a win is still a question.
If you've been following our coverage online, you may have read T.S. Sudhir's fine piece on the prospects of the AIADMK and the DMK potentially transferring votes to each other in the face of BJP candidate looking strong, and that's it, to ensure that the BJP stays low. It's happened in states like Kerala. where the left has often, sometimes in Lok Sabha context, transferred votes to the UDF in a bid to ensure that the BJP doesn't open its tally. On the back of everything that you've picked up, T.S. Sudhir, at the end of phase 1, are the Dravidian parties that are very inimical towards each other on the ground willing to transfer seats to keep the enemy at bay, or do you think there's just too much bad blood between EPS, between Stalin, to actually worry about trying to keep the BJP away from the shores of Tamil Nadu?
I think, Rahul, the 2024 election has been different from the elections in the past, mainly because of the surge in the kind of campaign the BJP and by extension the NDA fought. And in at least 3 of the constituencies are personalities who both the DMK and the AIDMK are extremely inimical towards. One, of course, is Annamalai. Then there is OPS in Ramanathapuram and TTV Dinakaran in Theni. Now, the AIDMK has a personal animosity towards all 3 of them, and they would want these 3 leaders to be defeated, not enter the Lok Sabha. So, as far as these 3 constituencies are concerned, there could be the prospect of some kind of a quote-unquote match fixing that Annamalai also referred to. He feared that there could be some kind of an understanding between the 2 Dravidian parties as far as Coimbatore is concerned. Now, because if both TTV Dinakaran and OPS, or at least one of them, actually managed to win, that would be a huge setback for the leadership of Edappadi Palaniswamy within the AIDMK, because that would show that the entire Tevar community has actually consolidated behind either of these 2 leaders. So there would be a vested interest out there. As far as Annamalai is concerned, we know the kind of bad blood between him and the AIDMK leadership. We also know that if he wins, that would be a huge setback for the leadership of the DMK within the state, given the fact that the election is in 2 years from now. So in that sense, there are these kind of permutations and combinations being worked out. But Pradeep Gupta referring to the fact that Tamil Nadu is going to be the state to watch out for. Now, we have for long spoken about how the route to Delhi goes through Uttar Pradesh and Lucknow. I am not so sure whether there is a direct flight yet from Tamil Nadu to Delhi as far as the politics is concerned, though the BJP would want at least a direct flight between Coimbatore and Delhi for sure.
Yashwant Deshmukh joins us as well. Coimbatore to Delhi, direct connection. You can catch a plane, but can you catch a BJP ticket? It's the most exciting, because there's a certain, this is where pundits and pollsters, Yashwant, get excited. If there is predictability about what may happen in Gujarat, or relative predictability about Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan, it's not as much fun. It's when there's a contest like West Bengal, when there's a contest like Tamil Nadu, that the ball's up in the air and everyone who's watching the Indian political league is standing and watching, wondering whether it will be a 6 or will it get caught at the boundary. Yashwant, what's going to happen? 6 or out?
Well, Rahul, I will not going to do any predictive analysis as such. I'm privy to the exit poll data, so it would be unethical to...
Yashwant bhai? Do you also have a leaked poll or not?
Thankfully not. So far, so good. But one thing is very interesting to observe that, I was watching Annamalai's interview yesterday where he was very practical in keeping his sights or his targets. He was aiming at crossing the 20% vote share first, and then, talk about, NDA vote share to 30%, and then so on and so forth. So he had a game plan. Now, 20% thing struck in my mind because, in Kerala, BJP actually has touched 20% multiple times during the Lok Sabha election, but in fittered off every time. And the reason was that they never had a good aggressive face to build up on whatever the BJP gained during the Lok Sabha elections in Kerala. But in Tamil Nadu, it is for the first time after the death of Rangarajan Kumar Mangalam, actually, that BJP finally has got a face, a young, dynamic, forward-looking face who has a 20-year, at least 20-25-year long politics in him. And that makes all the difference. Why I'm saying that makes all the difference is that because this contest right now in Tamil Nadu is not about DMK versus BJP or DMK versus AIADMK. 2024 contest is all about BJP versus AIADMK. So the contest, DMK is nowhere in the contest. DMK is just sitting pretty, just having a good time. The thing is, the real contest is about who is going to become the challenger to the DMK in the times to come. And that is why the optics, the war of words, the narrative come in, but at the same time, the vote share and winning couple of seats here and there, that also comes in. So it will be very, very interesting, even though BJP, Rahul, were let's accept this fact that 2014 and 2019, the three states where BJP is really trying to grow, Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Punjab, BJP doesn't really need these three states to form a government in the center. They formed the government at the center without these three states in 14 and 19, both of time. Still, they know that their plan or their mega plan or their future plans cannot succeed. At some point of time, they might start yielding place in the saturation.
There is a theory I have. Remember, the BJP's vote share in Kerala at the starting point is 9%. The BJP's vote share in Tamil Nadu at the starting point is 3.76. So what is it that the BJP sees in Tamil Nadu, which it doesn't see in Kerala, which makes the BJP work doubly hard? You're more than twice at the starting point in Kerala, and yet you make more effort in Tamil Nadu. What is it about the local dynamics of the state of Kerala which makes the BJP think it has a better chance in Tamil Nadu? Is it the ability of the left to transfer votes to the Congress to ward off the third challenger? And because of the animosity between the DMK and the AIDMK, the prospects of a transfer of vote from the DMK to the AIDMK is that much tougher in the eyes of the BJP, which is why they're making the kind of effort that they have. And also they've got somebody in Allamalai who they think can, at some point in time, maybe 2031, in the estimate of the BJP strategists, be a potential chief minister for the state. Very, very exciting in terms of what happens. I want to show you some data sets about the first phase of polling, and then we look at the big picture. So 15 seats went to polls today where the margin was less than 5% in the last elections, and 13 seats where the margin was between 5 and 10. So if you add those, so about 28 seats where the margin was less than 10%. Those are the only tight contests, whereas 48 seats had a margin of more than 20% in 2019. Let's for a moment show you how the relative strength, regardless of what's happening in the end on the 4th of June, the relative strength of the BJP pan-India is now much more than that of the Congress. What you're seeing over here is a chart which shows the number of seats contested by the BJP and the Congress in elections going back to 1984. In 84, for example, the BJP contested only 229 out of 543 seats. The Congress at that time was contesting 517, virtually all the seats. From there on, the Congress's blue line in this graph keeps coming down to just 329 seats at this moment. This is the lowest number of seats contested by the Congress in any election ever. The Bharatiya Janata Party, on the other hand, which contested only 229 seats in 1984, is contesting 446 seats nationally, more than the previous election as well, which shows how the relative strength, the pan-India presence of the BJP now is far more muscular than that of the Congress. The Congress doesn't even have the meat to, forget win, doesn't even have the meat to put up a candidate on the number of seats that the BJP is currently putting up candidates on. I want to come now to the next sheet, which gives you a geographic sense of the spread of the BJP tickets. If you see, starting from the north, going all the way down to the south, the saffron here indicates the seats where the BJP has put up candidates. Where does the BJP need allies? The BJP's got allies in Maharashtra, the BJP's got allies in Andhra Pradesh, and the BJP is relying on allies in Bihar and Uttar Pradesh. Those are the pockets where the BJP is currently. You know this, but the moment you see it in a map, it's that much more clear in terms of where the BJP is resting on allies to help the NDA bolster its fortunes. If I come now to the chart for the India Alliance, you'll see a very different picture. In the heartland, a direct contest between the BJP and the Congress. You've got the Congress putting up candidates. But in the most important state of all, Uttar Pradesh, just very few pockets of blue. Largely the Congress resting on the cycle to try and put up a solid show. Also in the south, the Congress just in pockets in Tamil Nadu and elsewhere, and in Maharashtra. So very, very diffused, fragmented, which potentially means, and that's where I want to go across to Pradeep Gupta, that regardless of what happens on the 4th of June, given the current strength of the BJP, we saw in that first chart, which showed the Congress's decline from 84 onwards, it takes time, for the party to come down. It takes time for the party to go up. When that happens, does it then also, in your estimate, Pradeep, take time for the opposite to happen, for the Congress to bounce back or for the BJP to decline? Or do you think there can be cataclysmic events which trigger a fast ascent for the Congress and a rapid decline for the BJP? What's your sense? Or do you think the political chessboard of this country has been relayed potentially for the next several elections?
Rahul, a very interesting and important chart you have shown, and I can only comment on this from a Congress point of view, is that what you see now, 329, the biggest difference is making out to be in Uttar Pradesh, where they are contesting only 17 seats out of 80 seats. Meaning what? Meaning 63 seats they are not contesting in, and that is what is making all the difference. And what you have shown in 1984, 500 seats contest by the Congress. And I'll tell you, in the interest of viewers, that is the time when in that particular election, Congress has tied up or the alliance only with the AIDMK at that point of time. And the alliance has won all 39 seats of this thing. So this is the Congress telling, until and unless Congress start doing good, particularly in Hindi heartland, I don't see any chance of survival over there. And the place has been taken away by regional Chhatraps likes of Samajwadi Party, likes of RJD, likes of even in case of Tamil Nadu, all regional parties. If you go to West, the Eastern India, there also you see the West Bengal, the TMC, or even Andhra Pradesh, that matter, which used to be the bastion of Congress over the years, and particularly in 2004 and 9, when Congress formed the government in the center. Andhra Pradesh was the state, the United Andhra Pradesh has sent the maximum number of seats in the excess of 30s out of 42 seats. So most important here is that in regional area, the regional Chhatraps has eaten away the Congress, and in Hindi heartland, it's all BJP who has replaced the Congress.
Okay, I want to spend a moment on the election intelligence dashboard and show you what's happened in Rajasthan and in Uttar Pradesh. Because remember, in phase 1, elections were also held in almost half of Rajasthan and in western Uttar Pradesh. I'll start with Rajasthan first. And there were 12 seats where elections were held in Rajasthan. The NDA in the last elections had 11 of them. The India Alliance won. In fact, one of the parties, RLTP, actually was an NDA ally and then switched over to the India Alliance. This is as far as Rajasthan is concerned. And then there is Uttar Pradesh, where elections were held today on 8 seats, out of which the NDA in the last elections had 3, all of them were with the BJP. The India Alliance had 2, which were with the Samajwadi Party. And one of the issues that we've seen in the build-up to the first phase of polling is Kshatriya resentment, which started out with one senior BJP minister, Purushottam Rupala, making comments about the Kshatriya Samaj and people from the Rajput community wedding their daughters to imperialists. And that's really led to a big blowback in places like Rajkot, more than 1 lakh people coming out in the streets. The side effects of that being felt in Rajasthan and in western Uttar Pradesh, which is also where Preeti Chaudhary has been travelling. Preeti, do you think that that could potentially be an issue which can change the electoral verdict on the 4th of June? Or do you think it just kind of creates some discontent but doesn't lead to the end result actually switching?
You know, Rahul, if you look at it, you might call them Thakurs in Uttar Pradesh, Kshatriyas in Gujarat, and of course Rajputs in Rajasthan. But traditionally, this whole bank has been a BJP voter. Now, in a place like western Uttar Pradesh, which has suffered at the back of 2013 massive polarization post the riots, it's difficult for even a Thakur who's angry with the Bharatiya Janata Party to press the button of the cycle. So, you know, talking about the Rajputs or the Thakurs in Uttar Pradesh, I don't see the Thakurs squaring the pitch as much. I do feel ultimately they've been placated. You've had rallies by, you know, by Yogi Adityanath, who's a Thakur himself, Rajnath Singh, at the back of those many Mahasabhas that were held. I think they would be placated. My biggest observation, Rahul, in West UP as well as in pockets of Rajasthan was that this time, at least till now, there is no wave. There is no Modi wave. It's ebbed since 2019. Modi is a factor. Bigger in Rajasthan than in Western UP. Modi is a factor, but local issues are being talked of a lot. In Western Uttar Pradesh, it seems the caste dynamics, you talk about Thakurs, there are other caste dynamics as well, where the Jat vote is seemingly split in certain, pockets. Then you have the SC this time, the Dalits. The Prime Minister, where he came out and spoke of the Constitution, Samvidhan Bachana Hai, there was reasoning behind that. Because Dalit pockets in Western UP, when we've been talking to them, they talk about Samvidhan Bachana Hai primarily because they see these sabhas, which they attend by the Gathbandhan, and they come back and they seem to tell you कि अगर संविधान नहीं बचेगा तो आरक्षण खत्म हो जाएगा. So that has been the cause relation. So there are, caste is prevailing, which has largely been dominated by religious polarization, at least in the last 2 elections. And number 2, local issues are cropping up, which we've never seen in 2019 or 2014.
So let's spend a moment on this with Yashwant Deshmukh. Yashwant, now there are 2 theories. One is that given the fact that the BJP government led by Prime Minister Modi has now been in power for 10 years, there is inevitably going to be some simmering discontent on issues like price rise, unemployment. And in that interview I did with the Home Minister, he speaks about Sukh Bugahat. He says Sukh Bugahat is fine. He's got some murmurs. It's not anti-incumbency to the extent required to be able to change the electoral fortunes. And he also speaks of Fasla, that the gap between the NDA and the UPA is so much that even if there are some murmurs, some local issues, for example, the Kshatriya issue, other issues, it's not enough to be able to change the trend line. What's your sense? Are we seeing as presidential an election as we saw in 2019, or do you think inevitably after a decade of being in power, some elements of anti-incumbency are now visible around us and there is no gainsaying that?
Well, there are elements of truth what Home Minister said to you, Rahul, but I agree with Preeti's assessment that even if there is discontent, are they actually going to go out and vote against the party which they have been traditionally voting out for? The only last such instance that we have in recorded electoral history in recent years is when the Brahmins voted for BSP in 2007. And that too only because BJP was completely out of power equation. They thought that's the only way to vote against Samajwadi Party to stop Samajwadi Party, and the moment BJP's equation changed, BJP was seen as a party which can come into power. All of them switched over to the BJP. So what Preeti is saying has a lot of merit in that discontentment or anger or disappointment, all these emotions are very true. But practically speaking, none of these groups have actually ever voted against, their party. And also one more fact, Rahul, that we also need to look into the new BJP's support base. The huge support base of the non-Yadav OBCs, the huge support base of the non-Jatav Dalits that they have kind of tapped in the last 10 odd years, that has, not to offend anybody, but that has kind of made many other support bases irrelevant as far as their winning is concerned. So margin is winning. Margin is where they might come into play. But as far as the essential winning equations are concerned, many traditional groups they do not carry that kind of leverage in the new politics of the BJP that they used to carry, say, 10 or 15 years back. So Preeti is bang on when she says the discontentment is fine, but are they going to switch over? As far as the different vote bases are concerned, Rahul, I have understood one thing, particularly in the case of the BJP support base, their support base hardly switches over or swings over to other parties. When they are really upset or angry, they sit back at home and they do not go out and vote. So
we've seen this in 2017 in Gujarat, exactly. When in places like Surat, traders were upset and there was a lot of talk of the Patel community switching over. They were upset, they kept, hitting out at the leadership that came, venting their anger and frustration, but in the end, either stayed back at home or ultimately went out and voted for the BJP. Will they switch their voting? Because remember, especially in a state like Gujarat, you'd gone through more than 2 decades where they hadn't voted, these particular communities hadn't voted for the Congress at all, and therefore would they switch because of some government decision? That was an important factor. Let's spend some moments before I wrap up this broadcast on what to expect in phase 2. So I'll take a look at the map of India. Now I've switched from phase 1 to phase 2. So all of Kerala goes to polls in phase 2. Southern Karnataka goes to polls in phase 2. Half of Rajasthan goes to polls in phase 2. Those are the big ones. And then pockets of Maharashtra, the central part of Madhya Pradesh, some more seats in western Uttar Pradesh, few seats in Bihar and Bengal, and in Assam go to polls as well. A total of 88 seats on the 26th, including in Noida, where many of us are voters. 61 of them were NDA seats from the last elections. The BJP had 52 of them, the Janata Dal United 4, and in the India Alliance, 18 of them were Congress seats, and they came from the state of Kerala. Samajwadi Party didn't have any seats in the second phase. And I want to go across to T.S. Sudhir on this, because like Tamil Nadu was crucial, in phase 2, Kerala and southern Karnataka become extremely crucial. In Karnataka the last time, largely the BJP had done very well. You had some pockets where they were challenged by the Janata Dal Secular and the Congress, but it was largely BJP dominated. 12 out of 14 seats in the pockets of southern Karnataka in 2019, where elections will be held in phase 2. What's your best sense? Kerala and Karnataka, how is the battle looking at the moment from your lens? T.S. Sudhir.
Well, let's talk about Kerala first. Now, what the BJP has done in order to make the contest more riveting and so that it's not a bipolar contest between the LDF and the UDF is to field a number of heavyweights, including ministers like Rajiv Chandrasekhar or Muralidharan in the contest. But yes, even they would be pretty realistic about their chances, given the kind of sway that the UDF and the LDF cadre, the different parties within the two coalitions have within the political landscape of Kerala. Thrissur would be one seat where they would be hopeful, given the fact that Suresh Gopi, even though he has lost the last two elections, he's seen as giving a good fight. Rajiv Chandrasekhar and Shashi Tharoor, of course, it makes for good optics. We'll need to see how that plays out. South Karnataka is going to be extremely interesting because it will also be a test of how the relationship between the JDS and the BJP actually plays out on the ground. Given the fact that you have a Congress government now in Karnataka, and a number of candidates have been changed by the BJP in South Karnataka and Karnataka on the whole, how do they actually gel in their new constituencies? Mysore for one, Bangalore North for one, where they have fielded new faces. So all these kind of constituencies will be much watched for. So the dynamics between the JDS and the BJP, and whether the BJP is able to turn around from the kind of performance it put up in the assembly elections last year, and whether there has been a change. So the vote will also be against the state government to an extent, given that they have had 1 year in office. There have been a few issues, and also against the central government of the BJP in Delhi, whether it is going to be a pro-Modi or an anti-Modi vote.
But the big difference between the elections in Karnataka last time round and now is that this time, Yashwant Deshmukh, the Congress is in power, and the Congress has given tickets to family members of powerful individuals, so that the whole political family with all their money, their muscle power can get involved. And you've got the likes of DK Shiv Kumar, Siddaramaiah, who are wily political operators at play. Does that then make Karnataka different from 2019 in the sense that the BJP may still do well, but it needs to fight harder because they're up against a state government which brings you certain muscle, money, administrative machinery? Or do you think because Prime Minister Modi is on the ticket, all local issues get subsumed to the yearning to have Modi back in power for a third term?
Well, in Karnataka, I don't think BJP waited only for the Modi magic or the split vote or the Lok Sabha, Vidhan Sabha vote split equation come into play. And that is very clear how quickly they moved in to accommodate JDS, because they knew for sure that, after the last assembly election drubbing that they received, that things are not going to be easy. And if you remember our numbers, in the India Today MOTN right after the Karnataka assembly elections, the numbers were not very pleasant for the BJP, even for the Lok Sabha elections. So they move very quickly, and JDS is a critical thing in the equation, not just because of the Voka Liga votes, Rahul. JDS votes are essentially anti-Congress vote bank all along in the entire electoral history of Karnataka. And the reason that BJP swept 5 years back was when JDS went to Congress for an alliance, their vote share was shifted to the BJP lock, stock and barrel.
And the other difference this time is that the BJP is put up in Old Mysore prominent Vocaliga candidates as their local candidates on BJP tickets. And now that you've got the Janata Dal Secular, does that then enable easy transfer of the Vocaliga vote from the JDS to the BJP? And if that happens once, what does that mean in an assembly election context next time round when these communities which so far haven't voted for the BJP, and Old Mysore has been an area which the BJP hasn't been able to barge into, then becomes fertile ground for the BJP. And if that happens, on the basis of what they get in North Karnataka, and if they can do the same in southern Karnataka, you're seeing the political grammar of the state of Karnataka being reworked forever. It's bad news for the Janata Dal Secular, even though at this moment it may be temporarily advantageous for them. In the long run, it's a massive disadvantage. But then do they have, given the age of H.D. Deve Gowda, given his current health, do they have the wherewithal and the desire to fight on? So there's a lot at stake. For the time being, Yashwant Deshmukh, T.S. Sudhir, Preeti, Akshita, thank you very much for joining us on this broadcast.